It occurs to me that I was saying so many bad things about my team in my last video. I forgot to say good things about the Packers. So, there's obviously some good things to take from that. I just wanted to comment on a couple of these things real quick that I left out of the last video. Obviously a very good pass rush, solid defense all around. I think that pass defense could really be something special. And that run defense has potential too. They need to find a third linebacker. But, yeah. I like Jenkins and KGB and Campman. That's a pass rush in itself. So yeah, and Aaron Rodgers played really well. Got to give props to Mr. Rodgers. I do feel that Green Bay gave up on him before they gave him a legitimate chance to prove himself. So hopefully that'll work out. Other thing I didn't comment on last video was actually the night game, which was still going on at the time that I made the video, Oakland and Frisco. And on the Oakland side of things are more interesting because you got a quarterback battle, and with a very strong showing, looks like Dante Culpepper's got that pretty much sealed up. I don't necessarily agree with that because to me, Culpepper is just too old, and there's just no way he ever becomes a franchise quarterback again at this point. I would also say the same for Josh McCown, which is why I would recommend throwing out Andrew Walter. And I know, as bad as he was last year, they drafted him for a reason, and he hasn't shown all his cards yet. So if he becomes something, perhaps now he has trade value, or maybe he can even be one day the franchise quarterback of the Raiders if Jamarcus Russell doesn't work out. So I would take this opportunity. By opportunity, I mean Jamarcus Russell still holding out. It's getting a little ridiculous. But, yeah. I would take this opportunity to see what you have in Andrew Walter. But the Raiders played pretty well. Culpepper obviously did great. Quite a few receivers stepping their game up in the absence of Randy Moss. 49ers side, more of the same. Pretty good offensive output in spite of no Frank Gore. I'm seeing a lot of smart passing and good decisions by Alex Smith, and Trent Dilfer came in and did pretty well. I didn't actually watch any of this game. I couldn't, I don't get great coverage of the preseason up here. But yeah, that was the impression that I got. Okay. Yesterday's game, Giants and Ravens. I did watch the start of this game all through like the second quarter and some of the third, and then I watched baseball. So, Eli is still actually impressing me. He always does seem to impress me in the preseason and at the beginning of the season, and then he'll fall off by the end of the season. Second half, that's been his modus operandi so far in the league, but, he still looks good out there in the face of a great pass rush. He was able to, most of the time, get the ball out in spite of playing behind a weak offensive line and playing without his top receiver against a very stingy defense, might I add. So, he looked pretty good, but the rest of the Giants' offense, not so much. They weren't able to get a running game going. They got a couple of fat backs back there. Somebody's got to make their, somebody's just got to step up and become that starting running back. I don't know if it's Jacobs, I don't know if it's Drowns, but somebody's got to do it. No Plaxico, so it's hard to judge their passing game, but the real story of this game has to be all the injuries. They lost a receiver in Michael Jennings. They lost a couple of secondary guys. Sam Madison, Will Demps, and I think one more. Their defense actually impressed me, the Giants' defense. They swarm to the ball really well. They don't have a lot of talent over there, but they're smart players that know how to get to the ball carrier. Matthias Kiwanuka, Antonio Pierce, O.C. Umenora. They just kind of swarmed to the ball carrier, and it was impressive to me. But again, some issues in the secondary now. They're down their best cornerback and a safety. I don't think much of Will Demps, so I don't think he'll be terribly hard to replace, but, injuries are injuries. They're never good. The Ravens side of things, obviously, the offense was kind of sputtering. Well, both offenses sputtered for the most part, in all fairness, but First string offense, wasn't impressed. I'm still not sold on McGahee. I haven't been. I never really have been. But I'm not sure why Baltimore is so high on him, and I'm not sure why people think he's going to add so much to the Baltimore passing game. He himself is not a passing threat. He might draw defenders into the box, but he himself is not a great receiving running back. Maybe better than Jamal Lewis, but a lot of running backs are better at catching the ball than Jamal Lewis. Um, that being said, you know, I mean, the first string offense as a whole didn't look too well. No Jonathan Ogden, and you saw that kind of pay not work out so well. The Baltimore defense did pretty good. Um, not quite up to the Ravens' standards in my opinion, but I thought it was a good performance. They stopped the run, had a little bit of trouble with the pass, giving up that one touchdown to Steve Smith. Can't remember whose responsibility that was. It might have been Corey Ivy. I'm not sure. Big news out of that game was, of course, Samare Rolle getting hurt for the Ravens side. They had injuries too. Samare Rolle. I think they were trying to replace this guy anyway since he'd been dropping off lately, but they still could have used his veteran presence on the field, so let's hope that's not serious. In the meantime, let's hope Corey Ivy can step his game up and become that number 2 cornerback. And offensively, actually, they also lost another prime weapon in Mark Clayton. This guy was primed to be the number 1 wide receiver of Baltimore for this season, taking the place of Desmond Mason. And, he can't deal with the ankle injuries at this time, so we hope he's going to be okay. I understand it's not a serious injury. I have him on some of my fantasy teams as well, so hoping for the best from Mark Clayton. And there were 6 injuries totaling in this game, each of which has the potential to be serious. So, bloody preseason stuff. And tonight, actually, in about 20 minutes, we've got Colts-Bears. Good game. Nationally televised, so tune in. I know I'm going to. I'm going to try and watch the whole game. Rematch of Super Bowl 41, 2 elite teams that hope to be there come January and February, and expect to be there. So I'll be giving my thoughts on that tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow? Oh yeah, I have finals in school tomorrow. Just 2 of them. I only took 2 classes over the summer. But once that's over, I'm going to be in a real football mood, so expect quite a few videos. Send in your requests, because now is a good time. And check out the Fantasy League. I left a video all about it, so check it out. Join the Fantasy League. We got 7 members. If I get 1 more, I can solidify the league. The more the better, though. So I'm always open to more people. That's about all I got to say. So see you guys tomorrow.